Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday afternoon, September 28th. We are looking at the SPY ETF market profile here on Window Trader. And very good day for the bulls as they hold both the weekly gap and the daily gap. They had zero acceleration or tempo throughout the day. We went back and forth through the open in the first four time frames. We tested again in F&G, only never to see it again. However, both sides of this market could have made money, and both sides did make money, as most of my plays, believe it or not, were from the short side. I'll go over my trades in a minute. There were a couple I got picky on, which cost me, that I didn't do. But overall, good day. And again, like I tell you many, many times, seeing the market for me is just as important as that trade, right? I think I kept a lot of the room out of trouble in L&M because even though the indices were up tremendous and strong, a lot of times we're looking for that pop at the end of the day. And I told them plain and simple, look, I don't know if it's going to happen, but the fact that F did not take out E's low by a lot, the fact that J didn't take out I by a lot, and once K took out L's low, I'm like, I could actually see us pushing lower and alleviating the weak longs and getting shorts pushing on rather than making a new high. That's exactly what we did. So, again, that's market-generated information. That's knowing your competition. Okay, that's so important as I explain the development the development profile and what the market's doing, what it's trying to do. And what didn't happen is just as important as what did happen. We battled the 50-day moving average as we got up to it. Never really got above it, settled below it by a bit. But we did change the landscape on the charts. We're back in balance in the weekly and we're up in the daily. So as far as my trades go, we opened. I said, there's no way I'm doing anything right away because the gap's too big. Well, we pushed down. We got to a very comfortable level for me, which was just under $1 from the daily gap, let alone the weekly gap. I took a 321 call, and every trade was from today and did well on it as it reversed and went right back up and took it off right below the opening. C period. I did nothing in B. Right? B popped the top, went high. I did nothing. C open. We had single prints. We couldn't take out B. Well, I said I'm taking 335 puts because I think we'll fill the single prints. And boy, that's exactly what we did is we filled the single prints. I took them off there, and that was a nice trade. I didn't do a lot of trading today. I had a good day, but I didn't do a lot. The one trade I missed early on was a long in B. I didn't know how much we would get once we took out A's high, but it felt like once we got it back above the open, and that would have been a good call play and to see if we took out A's high. So that's one of the ones I didn't take, which I should have and missed. Then I took a short in G, which ended up lasting for almost an hour and a half. And it wasn't anything big, but I made money on it because I added on to it and went to a different price actually in I period. So, but I didn't take anything big. So I took a short in G, looking to fade. We were one time framing down. Now here's the big one. Before I get to G's trade, here's the big one I missed. I was looking for an afternoon pullback low. I was looking for value low, and I was looking to see if we got down to around C's low. So I'm not upset I didn't take it in F because that would have been the first one time framing down. We didn't get away from POC at all. G, I could have taken it because I had something to lean on. If it got below G, I could have either gotten out or added to it if it got down to where I was looking for. That didn't happen, and that went right back up. Yeah, it is the afternoon pullback low, but certainly not the one I was expecting. I thought we'd get more out of it. I did take the short in G against E's high. It worked. I added to it. I added to it in G, H, I, added to it, and then every time it came in, I took out. When we made the new high, I did the 336s. These were the 335s. Took them off. I had very, very small left. Believe it or not, I had 6 contracts left that I held through all this and then took them out when M finally flushed. And that was really the only trades I took because each new high was being met by resistance and just fading, coming back into the day's range. So I added only that one time, really, the 336s and K where I faded, which turned out to be nice. Now, what did I miss? Well, in L&M, I did say something's gnawing at me. We can't get much here. Could have taken a much bigger put play here of the 336 variety because we finally got that flush in M. Didn't do it. That's okay. Called the market well. And then I was looking to go long, and I was looking at the 332 calls at the time. I bid $1.75, didn't really get to them, got down, and then reversed. Now, value low is not here. I'm in 5-tick increments, I believe, or 4. So value low is lowered. I was still looking to see if we got and tested value low and or took out G or F's low. So I didn't take the trade. No harm, no foul. Seeing the market is very, very good for me. And real quickly before I go to destinations, triple Qs were totally the opposite. They never saw their opening until later in L&M, and they go out with a set of, they didn't have single prints, but they go out with a price probe. So really interesting. Very interesting how the 2 days were different, even though the indices weren't that far apart as far as how much they were up. Okay. Upside destination is today's high, 334.96. Then we have 335.49 and then 337.70 daily high and filling the gap at 338.52, an 82-point gap from the 17th of September. Downside, SPY was only 8 wide. My 8 wide was J's low. No, it wasn't. I apologize. My 8 wide, I believe, is M's low. Right. Because we're not using N. That's why it went up there. So I'm 8 wide at M's low. The ES are 9 wide at F side. As you can see, H never got to it. So that's another little nuance. They never could even raise their POC. Their POC ended still at F's high. We raised it one time early in the day, but I'm talking about later. So that's a little interesting. So my downside is until F's low, which is the afternoon pullback low of 333.11. Not that I'll totally ignore 8 wide, but it's not as relevant a reference point. Then we have the 2 lows, the 2 daily lows and the gap fills. 332.15 filling the weekly gap at 331.20. That's 95 ticks. And then 332.15, today's low, filling the daily gap of 329.58. That's a lot bigger, of 257 points. And then if we fill that gap, we have all the single prints and everything else that you should have from Friday night's video. Now let's go to the charts. So monthly, 2 days to go in the month. Firmly in balance, 327.73. That's the key number. Key number to stay above for the bulls. So we have balance and not an outside month down. Weekly, we stopped the one-time framing down. We're firmly in balance. The gap is my main focus. And then the daily, we come out of the 5-day balance to the upside. So I'm calling it up. Gap's my main focus. The next hurdle is to get over the 50-day moving average. If they do, we should get that daily high and then see if we can go for that gap. If we can't get above that 50-day moving average, well, then guess what? We're going to fill the gap and then maybe test right back down to the bottom of the balance. Tomorrow should be interesting. Today's volume only 64 million with the after hours. We're not going to come close to the average, which is 85. We have the debate tomorrow night. I think tomorrow's debate's going to be really just the important one, right? They want to see which side's going to take control, how Biden reacts, how Trump attacks him, whatever you want to say, whatever side you're on. I don't care. But I'm saying I think tomorrow night is going to be the real important one. And then the vice presidential debate 2 weeks later or whenever it is. So we might not get it as, again, the volatility might be less again tomorrow, at least for the good part of the day, because people are going to be so focused on tomorrow night. Hope you had a good day trading. We had an excellent room in CamelbackTrading.org's voice channel room. Turn back the clock event and Saturday at 8 o'clock. Come join us with just under 190 strong, 189. And remember, when I get to 299 $20 traders in here, that price goes up forever to $30 for anybody new that joins the room. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.